So let's see. Oh, we're live. All right. So tonight, I had a couple of, I'm going to say conversations, text messages, whatever, instant messages or whatever, with some friends of mine who, are in the middle of a little bit of a battle. And it reminded me of metta, because what I said to them is that we have to have loving kindness in our hearts, right? That's what I teach. So that's what I try to live by, right? And sometimes we think that we're in the middle of a fight, but we don't have to use the word fight, and we don't have to fight. We can communicate, we can share, and we can be loving and kind, even if the other people are not. And it's hard because we're taught in this society that it doesn't work. The loving kindness isn't going to work, especially in any kind of a legal battle or anything. No, loving kindness is not going to work. I'm here to tell you it will. It will work. And there's steps that we take in our own life, in our own personal being, that can create that in our world, because we forget that we have the power inside of us. We think that it is outside of us. It is not. It is inside. And if we remember this, we can change things in a positive way with loving kindness. But we cannot forget that we have to have it in us first. See, we can't expect to have a good result from something when we inside are angry and fighting. How can you? That's what you're putting out. So that's what you're going to get back, right? I mean, if you walk in somewhere and you have anger in your heart and you vent that out, even if you don't say anything, it's coming out. People are feeling it. They're knowing the anger and frustration in you. No matter how you try to hide it, it's there. And when you project that out, that's what's coming back. I know, I do it every day. I go in, I see people angry. So I project and I take loving kindness in my heart and I warm it up and I make it bigger than life itself inside myself, see? Because if I come in and they're angry and I'm angry, what does that do? That compounds the anger and makes it big. I don't want the anger to be big. I want the anger to be small and dissipate and go away. But the only way to do that is through loving kindness. If you do it any other way, you are giving them what they're giving out. And it's like this, what are you doing? You cannot win a battle of that. I know it to be true. So I'm going to go through these again, which I do every week, but I do that on purpose. I know that I've been through this. But I also know that the more we say it inside ourselves, the more likely we are to have it in our hearts. And this is the only way that we are going to change ourselves or the world, is bringing it in and marinating it. If you don't bring it in and you don't marinate it, what do you have? The same thing you always had. And that's really, if we're here, if we're all, whoever's watching this, I'm here, I'm present, Anna's here, we want a change in our life. That's why we're here. We want something good in our life. We want peace, right? We want inner peace. So how do we get that? Through ourselves. We have to give it to ourselves first. So we have to tell ourselves, you know what? I'm sorry I put you through that. Anytime we go through a battle, we're putting ourselves through a lot of stuff. anger, frustration, hatred, all these things are inside of us as we're doing this, right? So here we are. We have to tell ourselves, you know what? I'm sorry for making you go through that, right? Please forgive me. You're saying it to yourself. You're not saying it to anybody else. You're doing this inside yourself. Thank you for the forgiveness. And I love you. Why do we do that? Because we have to change inside of us first. We have to change inside of us first. Before we can expect change from anyone else, we have to change inside ourselves first. So that's what we're doing. So the next thing we do, which is in line with this, it's pretty much the same, but Master Bhumni gave me this and it's truth, and so I speak it, right? Truth inside yourself. You tell yourself the truth, right? If you don't tell yourself the truth, then you're lying to yourself, right? So you tell yourself the truth. That's why you say you're sorry. I'm sorry for any contribution I had to making this chaos in my life. I'm sorry for that. Please forgive me, right? Giving yourself loving kindness, right? We do it by forgiving ourselves, but also by saying, I love you, right? Be patient with yourself because this is a new exercise you're doing, right? This is new. You haven't done this. So all your life, you've just been going the way the world taught you how to go. That's what we've been doing. Just, okay, I'm supposed to get angry when someone does this to me. I'm supposed to be mad when someone, no, you're not. You don't have to. That's not truth. Truth is you don't have to be angry. Truth is you can get loving kindness, even when they're not giving it to you, especially when they're not giving it to you. Doesn't mean you have to condone what they're doing. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. See? It just means that you can project out loving kindness in adversity. You can do that. So be patient with yourself because you're learning how to do that. It's not easy to do that. Like we want to fight. Our souls, are used to the fight. So that's what we want to do. But when you were a little baby, you had loving kindness. You've just forgotten. You loved your parents even when they scolded you, even when they spanked you. You loved your parents. You can do this. You have to give it effort because it's not easy, You're so used to doing the other. You have to give it an effort. And then you have to create balance. It's called balance of non-attachment. See, you can't be attached. If you're thinking, I'm going to do this just for an outcome, it's not going to work. You have to do it out of love and kindness for yourself. If you don't do it for loving kindness for yourself, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're trying to make something or someone else do something, and it's an impossibility. The only thing you can make happen is the loving kindness inside your own heart. That's the only thing you can do. You can't make someone else do anything, but you can change the energy that's happening around. You can create this loving kindness. And I can tell you that when you do this, things start to change. People start to change. Even the ones you think will never change, they do. Because when you generate that out, it's powerful. That is where the power is. The anger and resentment, that's not power, that's weakness. That will make you weak. When you have love, you have strength. This is truth. I'm speaking truth. It changes people around you. People, if you walk into a room and you're angry, there's some people that will absolutely leave the room because they don't want to be around that anger and they can feel it. But if you walk into a room with loving kindness, people want that loving kindness. They want to feel it. They want to, oh, yes. And it's truth. That's truth. So here we go. There's some more truth I'm going to give to you. There is suffering. Everyone has suffering. And, you can't change other people's suffering. You can only change yours. See? How do you change? First, you got to find the cause. What's the cause of suffering? Well, usually the cause of suffering is an attachment of some kind. You're either attached to the past or you're attached to the future. So that's going to create suffering. There's a lot of suffering going on in this world right now. So how do we have the cessation, the stopping of the suffering? Well, there is a way to stop it. We got to go through here, right? So the path that leads to it's possible. So we know number 3 is there is cessation of suffering. It's possible to stop the suffering. How do you do that? Through the path of right view. What's the right view? You have to observe things without the delusion, without seeing it in the wrong way. See, everything that happens in our life has a purpose. It's happening for a reason. And it's making us grow. We're getting stronger or we're getting weaker if we don't pay attention and have the right view. See, if we just think things are happening and it's creating chaos in our life, that's not the right view, and it will continue to create the chaos and suffering. But if you have the right view, this is a teaching. This is going to teach me. Let me follow this, but let me follow it with metta, with loving kindness. Let me follow it in this, with my heart and my mind in loving kindness, right? And then you have the right thought. Eliminate thoughts of greed, anger, or ignorance, or hatred, or all those, your thoughts and your actions have a vibration, right? It's either a higher vibration or a lower vibration. So when you're angry, you're vibrating at a lower vibration, which means your power, your strength is diminishing. You may think it's not, but it's true, it is. So you have to have the right speech. What is the right speech? Being honest and truthful, compassionate, having joy and praise. Now, I'm not saying that you have to praise people who have done wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying inside yourself, you need to speak the right speech. You don't have to say everything about someone in a negative way. You can take a step back and lead by your example, lead by the way you present yourself. If you present yourself in the same manner that someone else does, then who's leading? Who is changing? No one. So you have to have the right speech. So this is how you're eliminating your suffering. This is how you're stopping it. The right action. No commenting, no committing unwholesome acts or deeds. Be kind. Don't do things that one day someone will say, oh, you did that? Or you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I did that? Oh, I wish I hadn't done that, right? Don't do things that you're going to regret later. That's the right action. Be kind. Be kind in your heart. Be loving in your heart. I don't care what religion you are. Does not make any difference. Or if you're no religion. Doesn't matter if you believe in God, don't believe in God, believe in Buddha, don't believe it. It doesn't matter. Because this is taught in every religion, and it's a truth for everyone. straight across the board, because it doesn't have to do with religion. It has to do with inside your own self, being kind and loving inside you, for you, because what you're putting out, you're also putting in. If you're thinking something negative, it's festering inside of your heart. And I'm saying this because it's a truth, it's a truth. We don't recognize that what we're thinking is affecting us as well. It may be affecting someone else, but it's definitely affecting you. And who really are we? Like, this is us. This is outside of us, right? Everything, and we went through this, everything is non-self. So if you know this board is not me, it's just a prop I'm using to be able to talk to you with. It's not me. I am in here. I'm not even this body. This body is my core. I'm temporarily using this while I'm in this human form on this earth. That's it. When I die, this body's going away. So if we remember that all of this is non-self, then we can start having the right action inside of ourselves. The right livelihood. No stealing, no killing, no harming, no lying. So this one, if you have love in your heart, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. But this means to yourself as well. So even if someone else is doing these things, right? Which we all know somebody who is lying or who has stolen or who has harmed someone else in some way. We all know someone like that. However, we cannot change that in them. They have to change that in them. We have to change us inside. And if we continue to be angry and pointing the finger and talking negative about other people, we're doing the same as they're doing. And it's not, how is that good? I'm confused that we're not good if we're doing the same thing that someone else is doing. So we have to have the right livelihood. We have to do things that are kind and loving. See, we're taking ourselves out of suffering, right? That's what we're doing, taking ourselves out of suffering. Walking down the path that leads to non-suffering. All right? The next one is we have to have the right effort. We have to give it effort. Like, we can't just go, okay, I'm having a good thought right now. Okay, I'm good. That was the right effort. No, you have to bring loving kindness into your heart, into your soul, into your mind. You have to fill yourself with loving kindness. Fill yourself with it. Don't just a little bit. That's not the right effort. That's a weak effort. You're not giving it really the right effort that you need to give it. Like when you're doing a job and you're doing it, say you're building something onto your house, you're adding a deck on your house, okay? You're not going to go in and put lattice underneath your deck to hold your deck up, right? Because that's going to break and it's going to crumble and it's going to fall. That's the wrong effort, right? But if you put a solid, I don't know, what is it, 2x4, 8x4x8, whatever it is, I don't know, I'm not a builder, but the big one, right? If you put a solid one right there and you stick it in the ground and you put several of those underneath the deck before you build it, you're building on a solid, firm foundation that is not gonna crumble. You are building your foundation. Don't make it crumble. Make it solid. Bring that loving kindness in. Give it the effort that it needs constantly. Don't just say, okay, I'm gonna give myself a little love and then the rest of the day I can just be mean to myself. No, give yourself love all the time. It's a beautiful thing that happens. So you have to give that effort. You have to continually give the effort because you've been doing the other for a long time and your lattice is crumbling. So now we're laying a good foundation and building your house on a solid foundation. Be mindful of what you're thinking. What are you speaking inside yourself? And not just to yourself, but to others too. See? Like when you start speaking things inside your mind, it creates something inside of you. What are you creating? Is it loving kindness or is it not? And if it's not, and you're speaking it out loud, you're not only doing that inside you, you're sharing that with someone else that's creating a little chaos outside of you, which normally, if we're doing that in our mind, we can't help but speak it out. We usually share that whatever it is we're suffering about, we're usually going to share it with somebody. So instead of doing that, pay attention to your thought. Pay attention. How are you feeling? How are you making yourself feel? Is it something that's like, oh, that's love, that feels so good inside? We all know what it feels like to have someone give us a little bit of love and kindness, right? We all know what that feels like. And some of us know what it feels like to give ourselves loving kindness. It's a beautiful feeling. Like it's just an amazing thing that happens when you do that. Amazing. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's very powerful. It's very powerful because not only does it affect you, then it affects other people in the room, right? It's a constant. So pay attention to what's going on in here because what's going on in here is going to come out in some way. So pay attention because you're creating something. What are you creating? Are you creating suffering or are you deleting suffering out of your life? You're doing one or the other, right? Have the right concentration. Be aware. Be here now. Know what you're thinking, right? Being mindful. Have the right concentration. Okay, if I'm mindful and I'm speaking something inside myself, the right concentration would be, okay, let me meditate on something that's going to bring kindness inside of me, right? Let me quiet my mind and just sit for a minute and clear whatever it is going on. Let me concentrate on something beautiful inside myself, right? It will bring you down out of this chaos that we have and it will calm everything, right? I usually say, take a breath. Breathe it in. Feel it go through your body, into your lungs. Feel it just, oh, that's the breath of life, right? If we're not breathing, we're not alive. So when we breathe in, we just feel that go through. Bring in the loving kindness in your heart. This is the right concentration. See? It does something, even speaking of it, right? You can feel it as I'm speaking of the loving kindness and I'm saying, breathe it in, calm it down. You can feel it just, it's a beautiful thing. It's magical. It works miracles or magic or whatever you want to call it. It works that in everyone's life if they try it, if they do it. So we know all this brings us to the cessation of suffering, right? So we have to know that all things are impermanent. Nothing lasts forever. So if we're in chaos, if there's chaos going around, if we're in the middle of a fight, if we're whatever it is that's happening, it's not going to last forever. It's going to stop. It's going to go away, right? So we know this. All conditioned things are subject to stress. So we create a condition, a thing, a conditioned thing, and it can create stress in our life. It's subject to stress. So we have to think about what it is, right? And then know that all the things outside of us are not us. We try to attach to things, our children. See, some people think that you have to be attached to your children to love them. That is not a truth. You can love your children and not be attached to them. See, we can let them be. Let them be. It's not to say you don't guide them in the right way, but you don't have to be attached so that whatever happens to them creates chaos in you, right? Because what good is that? What does that do? Does that help them in any way? See, if you think of things, is this going to help them in any way? No, it's not. Then don't do it. Right? I mean, if we think of things like this is how it does. And what it does is it creates emancipation of the mind. We're freeing our mind. Right? There's a song, free your mind and the rest will follow. If you do that, then things tend to work out the way they're supposed to work out. And when I say that, I mean, we don't know how things are supposed to work out. We think that we want them to work out a certain way, right? That's how we all have grown to think. Okay, I see something. Oh, I want that. Oh, I can't have that, but I want that, right? But what if you got it and it wasn't exactly what you thought it was? You know, it can create so much havoc inside of you. Instead of just letting things unfold, right? Seeing how they're going. Not to say you don't have to work a little bit and try to do things inside yourself. But I'm telling you, it starts inside of you. If you are following the chaos, you will be in chaos. If you're following loving kindness, you will be in loving kindness. That is the way it works. It doesn't work any other way. It doesn't. If you try it, you'll know I'm speaking a truth. So how do we be in loving kindness? Well, we just said we got to love ourselves, right? That's a hard one for most people because they think that they have to get it from outside themselves, right? We have to go to school and get educated. We have to have a good job. We have to have a nice car. We have to have a nice home. We have to have. No, you don't. You have to have love inside. That's it. The rest will follow. The rest will follow. But most of the time, we don't recognize that. We think, oh, I have to have a nice house. I have to have a nice car. I have to have this education. And people need to see that I have this. People need to know that I am this. Really? For what reason? I mean, when you think about it, why? Why do you need to have? Are you going to take it with you when you go from this body? No, you're not. You're not going to take it with you. You can do whatever you want inside yourself. If you need to be with other people, be with other people. Doesn't matter where you are. You can have loving kindness wherever you are, right? Wherever you are, you can have it. If you have it in here. You have to have it inside yourself. You cannot get it from outside yourself. You have to give it to yourself. So if you give it to yourself and then you share it with other people and you're communing with other people that are sharing their love inside themselves, I'm going to tell you, this creates this beautiful thing. I do it every week, right? I bring people in, we sit together, we talk together. You know, I bring you in, you bring me into your home. We all talk together, we share. It's a beautiful thing that happens. Doesn't matter where we are. Doesn't matter, what we're doing. We can stop for a minute and just share loving kindness in our heart. From our heart to your heart, right? We share it back and forth. But if we're angry, if we're resentful, we miss this opportunity for loving kindness. See? And it doesn't matter. I know there are circumstances where some of us have anger in us. Well, you can clear that out and still have a result that you want, still have the outcome that you want. Although you may not know the outcome that you want, right? It may not, the outcome that is best for you may not be the outcome that you think you want. Maybe something far greater. You just don't know it yet. And you're fighting for something that you don't even know. Give yourself some love. Stop the fight inside yourself. Be kind to yourself. Allow things to happen for you. Don't try to control. Do what you need to do to protect yourself, right? We all have to protect ourselves. So do what you need to do to protect yourself, but give yourself loving kindness. Stop the fight inside. Allow yourself to have love. Because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to save this world. I know it to be true. The love will help you heal so many things. And most people think I'm a little crazy because I say love will heal anything, but it will. And it may not be the way you think it should be. It may not be that way. But I can tell you, if you just try it, it'll probably be better than you could ever imagine. It is for me. I was in a fight most of my life. And then I stopped. And what happened was nothing short of a miracle. My heart grew bigger. I was able to help people. And I'm not really helping them. It's not me doing it. I'm just giving them tools to use. And I'm saying, here, try this. If it works, use it. It's a beautiful thing. If it doesn't, lay it aside. Try something else. But I'm telling you, the one consistent thing that I know in my life that works is love and kindness. But it has to start from within. You can't expect other people to have it if you don't have it yourself. It doesn't work. It's a mirror. If you're projecting anger, that's what you're going to see. There's a mirror. It's a mirror. If you're projecting loving kindness, that's what you're going to see. That's what you'll get. Just give it a try. Life is short, goes by so fast. In this human world we're in, nobody's paying attention. See? Everybody's in a hurry. Everybody's in a fight. For what? In the end, for what? What are you going to do when you're out of your body? Right? And will all of this be worth it? You have to find the love inside your heart. It's a beautiful thing. Like when we're here in this body, because we all know we're going to leave our body at some time, we're all going to die at some point and we don't know when, right? None of us know when we're going to go from this world. So we might as well start cultivating this love inside so that while we're here, we can live in peace. We can live in this beautiful space of loving kindness inside yourself. And then once you cultivate it inside yourself, others feel that. And they want to cultivate it inside themselves. It's true. When you see someone who is out of control inside themselves, then you share a little bit of love with them and you speak kind words to them. Something inside them starts to change. I know I do it every day. People say, "Oh, you're so calming," because I'm sharing love. I'm sharing love. I've cultivated it inside my heart. It's filled with love. And I want to share it with everyone. I want to share it with you. I want to share it with you. It's a beautiful thing that happens. But you have to do it in here. And it just works some beautiful things. People who are angry stop being angry, or they go away, one of the two. They may not stop, but they won't be present. They'll leave because they don't want to be in that peaceful space. But you have to cultivate it in you, or you'll be in that non-peaceful space. That's the only way to have peace inside yourself, is to give yourself love, is to just cultivate that love. Just, let it grow inside of you. Feel it. Once you feel it, you're going to start being like, "Oh, yeah, that feels so good." It really does. There's no reason for the anger. There's no reason for all this other stuff. It's just stuff. It's just stuff that doesn't mean anything. What really means something is the love you have in your heart. Most people in this world are going through this world not seeing it. They're not seeing the love inside themselves that they have. It's there. But we get sidetracked with everything else, and we forget that it's there. It's been there all our life. That love has been inside of you your entire life. You had it when you were born. Then things happened throughout your life and you started forgetting about it. Well, it's time to remember. It's time to wake up. It's time to give yourself love so that you can give it to others. That's the only way we can live in peace. It really is. I don't know. I try hard to kind of explain it so that everyone can understand it because it's that important. I come here twice a week and I get online trying to explain how to have love inside your heart. I'm hoping that at least one or two people will understand it. And maybe if those one or two people understand it, then they can share it to maybe one or two other people. And we can just start spreading it a little bit instead of spreading the other. Oh, the other. It'll make you crazy. It'll make you crazy. But this will bring peace that you have never experienced in your life. It's so good. And you have it already. You just have to remember you have it. You have to remember how to love yourself again. Because everything we see, everything we watch, you turn on the TV, you turn on the computer, it's talking about how you can lift this and, cover your face with makeup or, and I'm not judging, if you do that, that's okay. But I'm saying you're beautiful just like you are. And you need to recognize that you are beautiful just like you are. You don't need all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I was watching something the other day. I think it was on Facebook because I don't watch TV, but and it was this girl who had been burned. Her face had been burned. She'd been burned really bad. And so they were doing a makeover on her, putting on makeup and a wig. And my heart was, I wished I could talk to her and say, oh, you are beautiful just like you are. You don't need all that. Look at your soul, how beautiful you are. We're taught that the outside of us is us, right? We're taught, oh, cultivate the outside, make it pretty, make it pretty. Who said that's pretty? Who told us that? I don't know who started that. It's not a truth. Truth is the beauty comes from inside. And we've forgotten how to cultivate that. Oh, we know how to go get plastic surgery, right? I was caught in all that. I'm not judging because I was there at one time in my life. I was. I was lost in that circle of, trying to find it outside myself. It's not there. You'll never find it outside of yourself. It's inside. It's in your heart. That's all it is. It's the heart inside of you, this loving kindness. When you cultivate that, the beauty shines brighter than you could ever imagine. Peace comes along with it. It's like everything. Like loving kindness is everything. It's beauty, it's peace, it's gentleness, it's giving, it's everything. It is everything. It's balance. All of it. It's everything in one little thing inside yourself. And we search for it outside. It's not in the car we drive. It's not in the house we live in. It's not even in the children we have. We love our children, but it's not in them. You're not going to get happy from your children. Trust me on that. You're not. And I love my daughter. I love my grandson. But I can't depend on my happiness from them. It doesn't work. You have to have the love inside your heart for yourself. And you have to cultivate it. And then you can give it to others. And that's where the beauty is. That's what happens. That's where the magic and the miracles happen, is when you have it inside your heart and you just make it grow inside of you. Shine in this brilliant light of love coming from you. And it hits people and they're like, oh, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I haven't worn makeup in years. People are like, oh my God, you look so good. What's going on? I probably don't look good today, but it's all right. I was working in a restaurant today helping a friend. I shine my light anywhere I go. And when I do that, it helps people shine there. See, we're all helping each other out in this world. But we have to start with helping ourselves. That's the way it works. So I am going to end tonight with that. I want you to just try to have love in your heart for yourself and find that love for yourself. And then you can have love for others. That's the way it works. So peace, love, and joy to everyone. Be balanced in yourself.